Good day, everyone! For this day, it will serve a new topic for physical education for the first quarter of this school year. But before anything else, I have a question that will pass into your mind. This will be the question. Have you ever experienced getting tired easily? If yes, this topic will help you to promote and enhance your lifestyle as an individual. This can also suggest various techniques and strategies to uplift and enhance your lifestyle as an individual. So what are we waiting for? Let's start this topic. To begin with, let's start identifying physical fitness and how can we identify a physically fit person. Of course, we should have basis. And this is the definition that I provided based on the book. Physical fitness is the capability of the body to perform activity without undue fatigue and with reserved energy in case of emergency. Let's have these underlined words for we to get the concept of physical fitness. First, let's focus into the capability of the body. All of us has its own capability as an individual. But our capability differs from one another. Iba-iba ang kakayahan natin as an individual because we also have different lifestyle. Example, for the food that we eat, for the activities we involve, and the things that we do is different from one another. So, as an individual, we should be aware on those things because that might affect your activities as an individual. Let's continue the definition in activities. As an individual, we need to survive, and activities is one of the factor in our lives. Example of those are the jobs, study habits, and leisure time. All of us meron nung mga yon. And it is a form of activities. So, this is very necessary for us to survive, and this aspect might not become productive if the capability of our body cannot sustain the activity. Meaning, you cannot do your task, you cannot do your job, you cannot do certain activities because your capability is not fit. Your body is not fit. To continue with the definition, once we're performing activities, our body must not experience tiredness in short period of time. Have you ever experienced na kapag gumalaw ka, ang bilis mong hingalin or mapagod? That situation is an example of unhealthy and not physically fit individual. Because as an individual, we should sustain our energy inside our body once we're performing an activity. So, to sum it up, we can identify a person who's physically fit once he or she do his or her work in everyday basis without getting tired easily, not because he or she is having huge or big muscle or tall, not a requirement for an individual for he or she to become physically fit based on the appearance. It should be based on the capability in sustaining your activities. And that is the definition of physical fitness. Let's continue with health-related components. Once we talk about health-related components, these are the components who lies or who contribute to the development of the functional capability of the body. There are components that is based into the internal parts of our body. This also signifies the health condition of an individual. Of course, as I mentioned a while ago, the food that we eat affects our health. One of the best example is that an individual who's eating vegetables. and the other is eating food with preservatives. So which of this individual is much healthier? Of course, the person who eats vegetable is healthier compared to the others. Our internal organ has different functions, and this is very evident in performing activities. They are always involved into the things that we do, so we should have a certain awareness on how does our body works inside. So what is the connection of these health-related components into physical fitness? Actually, physical fitness divides into two parts. The first is the health-related components, which as I mentioned a while ago, and the second is skill-related component. If we will combine those components, we will achieve physical fitness. But that is not the end of the concept. The health-related components also divides into four parts, which signifies into cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, muscular strength, and muscular endurance. So therefore, to sum it up, this health-related components lies into the internal part of our body. Different internal organs we have has its own purposes. Of course, those parts of our body involves into the things or activities we're involving in. So we should have a certain awareness on how we will enhance those capability inside our body. So that is the health related components. Since we're already done discussing the health-related components, let's continue with the different factors under health-related components. The first one is cardiovascular endurance. So once we said cardio, it refers to our heart, and once we said vascular, it refers to the vessels or the passage. Daanan ng dugo is the main purpose of vessels. Now, what is this one? Once we talk about cardiovascular endurance, it refers to the capability of the heart and the vessels to supply oxygen into the working muscle of the body. So, as I mentioned a while ago, health-related components lies into the internal part of our body. So heart is the first one that we will discuss. The main purpose and function of the heart is to supply oxygen into the entire body, especially once we're doing activities. An example of that is, what have you noticed into your heartbeat once you're running? Of course, your heartbeat becomes faster because your body needs more oxygen due to the activities. So therefore, once that our heart is not in a good condition, the supplies of oxygen might disturb. We might also experience shortness of breathing. That's why hinihingal or hinahapo yung mga taong hindi sanay in terms of activities. And worse, chest pain because of excessive work of our heart. Now, what are the different things that affects the function of our heart? Of course, the food that we eat, especially the fatty and oily foods. So that is cardiovascular endurance, the supply of oxygen into the working muscle. So beware of the function of your heart. And our heart should have its own limit. Once we experience tardiness, we need to cool down sometimes, or we need to rest for a bit for we to adjust into the activity. The next component will be the flexibility after the cardiovascular endurance. Once we talk about flexibility, it refers to the capability of the joints to move to its full range. If the cardiovascular endurance lies into the heart and vessels, this flexibility import into the skeletal system, to be particular. As we all know, skeletal system serves as the framework of our body. It supports the muscles. It supports different parts of our body. Of course, in every action that we do, it includes or involves flexibility. From walking, from picking up something into the floor, every movement consists of flexibility. So our body consists of 206 bones to be particular, and flexibility allows you to move in different motions. So it means from stretching, from running, from cool down, it involves flexibility. Every actions that we do involves flexibility, and it is very important because flexibility improves the elasticity of the muscle to become more stretchable, to become more firm. Flexibility helps the muscle to perform the activity. That is flexibility. And this is very evident into the sports like gymnastics. So that is what we call flexibility. The next one will serve as the muscular capability. It means it refers or it involves our muscle. As I mentioned a while ago, flexibility helps the muscle elasticity. And the purpose of the muscle is to have a certain force or a certain impact into the activity. This muscular capability divides into two parts, which are the muscular strength and muscular endurance. So what is the difference between the two capability? Once we talk about muscular strength, it refers to the capability of the muscles to produce force in a short period of time. Means that is the thing that we use for short period of time. An example of that will be shot put or the javelin throw. So what is this kind of sport? They will exert their maximum force in one shot. It means iipunin nila yung lahat ng lakas nila and then they will throw a particular object. Like in shot put, they throw metal ball. In javelin throw, they pull a stick, something like that. So therefore, into this kind of sport, their maximum force was being enhanced in terms of performing the activity. Another example is the picture that I included a while ago. The weightlifting. The lifters will have its maximum force to lift the barbell, and that is what we call muscular strength. On the other hand, once we said muscular endurance, this is the capability of our muscle to produce force in a long period of time. So in short, the difference between the two is the duration. The duration of the force nung pinoproduce nila. An example for the muscular endurance, from the word endurance, it means how can you prolong the exertion of force into your muscle. And an example of that will serve as the push-up. So therefore, in every time that you having this kind of exercise, you're exerting force, but not in a one shot. Of course, push up is a repetitive movement. In repeating the same activity, your muscles need to have force. And that is what we call muscular endurance. How long can you sustain the force into your muscle in producing force? Another example is this sit-ups. So that is the difference between the two. Both of them is a capability of the muscle. The difference between the two is the duration of the force that they have for a short or a long period of time. Once we talk about short period of time, muscular strength. Once we talk endurance, long period of time. So that is the difference between the two. And that is the health related components for this activity or for this discussion. So I hope I've helped you for that discussion and this help you as an individual. So again, this is Ruben B. Palama. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.